Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from all the Modern Pythian Games team and International Pythian Council. I'm Rania Lampu from Greece. I'm a global educator, a STEM instructor, researcher, author, global peace ambassador, and I'm working at the Greek Ministry of Education and the Greek Astronomy Space Company. I'm also global ambassador of language, literary, and oratory arts, as well as education of International Pythian Council and also international ambassador of Ecumenical Delphic Union. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome you all to our International Virtual Conference Episode 13, organized by Modern Pythian Games, International Pythian Council. In ancient Greece, Pythian Games, which included athletic and cultural competitions, were considered almost as important as Olympic Games, and they were dedicated to God Apollo, who was the god of light, of poetry, and of the healing arts. Today, we have eminent dignitaries from different countries, Romania, Malaysia, Philippines, and India, who will present some facets of the culture of the countries, and they will express their views, their ideas about how modern Pythian Games can become a reality in our globalized world. So without further ado, I request our first keynote speaker from Malaysia, Mr. Narithiren.
Thank you very much, Prof. Rania and Prof. Bijender for this wonderful initiative. And today, I just want to share a few things about Indian games and culture in Malaysia. My name is Associate Professor Dr. Narendran Kaliapan from School of International Studies, University Utara, Malaysia. And this is the first time I'm talking about Indian games and culture because I'm from business background, talking about international business, strategic management. And when Prof. Rania contacted me to explain about Indian games and culture in Malaysia, so I feel like, oh, wow, this is like, it's really close to my heart. Actually, I'm a fourth generation in Malaysia. I born in Malaysia. Even my father and my grandfather, we born in Malaysia. So if you look at this picture, you can see that that's one temple. If you look at Malaysia, then definitely everyone will talk about this temple. This is a Batu Cave. So the statue is actually Lord Muruga, and then you see this is the one of the longest statue. It's about 42 meters actually. If everyone, most of the tourists will come and take picture in this this place. It's Batu Cave. So I just want to, I thought I only have like 5 to 7 minutes presentation. So in this presentation, I will talk about some introduction and how the culture and games can contribute to the tourism. So first thing is Indian games and culture play a significant role in Malaysia, where Indians make up the third largest ethnic group. Actually, we have Malay, Chinese, and Indians in Malaysia, and then other races. And this vibrant culture has enriched Malaysia in many ways, and it has become a major draw to tourists from all over the world. So even though we have a third largest ethnic group, but we will do whatever things that those who are lived in India is doing in Malaysia. So I just want to promote whatever things that we are doing here, and so that everyone in the world can know, okay, so Malaysian Indians are almost like similar, like those who are living in India. Okay, so Indian games in Malaysia. So there are many games, and we are using or we are practicing in Malaysia. But today I just want to speak about major 3 games. The first one is Kabaddi. So Kabaddi is a sports where you know about this, that they played in many parts in Asia, and its contact sports is played between 2 teams, and mostly they will play about 7 players each. The goal of the game is to score point, tagging members to opposite while avoiding being tagged by yourself. So this is the game that is originating from India, and we in Malaysia we are still played this game, and we also try to have not only just playing about among the friends, but actually we already have like a competition for the state level or even like a country level competition. And so we still following the nature of this game. So the first one is a Kabaddi. And second games that we are playing in Malaysia is a Silambam. It's a stick game. and the traditional Indian martial art that practice in Tamil Nadu and other part of India, and is stick fighting martial art that known as the dynamic and aerobatic movement. And also this is not just playing or just a martial art, and it's a sports. It's already in the state level and national level game. And even yesterday, I saw the news from the government, the Ministry of Sports. They really want to encourage these sports, and they want to encourage more women to be participated in this silambam, because this silambam is not only see as a martial, not only game, but this is a martial art for the women security purpose. And the third one I want to focus is about Kalari Payathu. I think this is from Kerala. This is another martial art which is used in Malaysia. And this is practiced and gain popularity among people all ages and background. There are a number of Kalari Payathu schools and clubs in Malaysia. Actually, they are registered, and they have members, and they have regular classes, the practices, and they are not only as a sports, but they are using as a game that for the state level and national level. And this they have also have like tournaments and events throughout the country. So far in this presentation, I just want to focus on these three things: kabaddi, silambam, and Kalari Payathu. So this is Indian game. This is from the India, but we Malaysians, we still using this and practicing this, implementing this in Malaysia. Okay, so apart from games, I want to talk something about the Indian culture in Malaysia. So Indian culture is evident in many aspects of Malaysian life. Actually, we have food, music, dance, and religion and cultural or festival events. Like we celebrate Deepavali as our Indian friends, and of course Pongal, and we have Thaipusam celebration celebrated with a great enthusiasm and throughout the country. So actually, in Malaysia we speak Tamil, we speak Telugu, we speak Malayalam, we speak Hindi. So we have huge members who can have this rich language that we are following from Indian origin. And next, how Indian games and culture help players, artists, and tourists. This is a important things that I want to share with you, because we just not only see games or culture just for our own purpose, but this can be a very much helpful for the players itself. So when those players are playing these games and involved in cultural activities, they can improve their skills and fitness. Because if you see that kabaddi, silambam, Kalari Payathu is all improve the skills and fitness level. That's number one. Number two is gain exposure to different culture. Because if you look at Malaysia, we have like Malay, Chinese, Indians. We are actually is a multi-ethnic cultural country. So when we expose this kind of games and culture to other people, so these players have opportunity to learn about different culture. So we learn something from Malays, we learn something from Chinese, we learn something from Indians. So these games and culture can have to make new friends. And the most important thing that we are practicing or we are emphasizing now is the unity. Because when we are living in a multi-ethnic culture, the unity is very important. Otherwise, we will have a lot of problems. So by having this kind of games and culture, the players have a very good environment, so we can live in a very harmony environment. And next, I want to talk about artists. Okay, artists is mostly they involved in cultural. Just now I said we have dance, we have most of the cultural activities, and find inspiration because of this dance, musics. All these things will give a lot new inspiration to the artists. So we in Malaysia, we have our own artists. We call it the local Malaysian artists, which involve in Indian musical or dance industries. Even we have our own movie, local movies that we have our own actress that we can have find inspiration from this and collaborate with other artists, so that this kind of platforms, conferences actually is really give a lot of I think a lot of artists will come and join this conference so that they can collaborate. Because even in this conference, I can see someone from Romania, someone from Philippines, right? So the artists can have a lot of collaborations and reach wider audience. This is a global event, right? So you can have a lot of promotion activities by using these games and culture. And the last thing is I want to emphasize here is tourists, because I see these games and culture is not only for just for the our own purpose, but this can be a tourism attractive event. So when tourists come to Malaysia, they can learn a lot of things about the Indian culture. That's number one. And number two is experience Indian culture firsthand. So and support local communities. Support local community means most of the activities in terms of games or culture, it actually is organized by the local people, local communities. So if let's say the tourists involved in tourism activities go to that local communities area, so actually they are supporting the local communities. So this will help them to have a better life. So it's just not only is a game or culture, but it's actually is will change the life of that local people. So this is very important thing. And Indian games and culture for tourism. Actually, my plan is the games and culture need to help the tourism. When because of this tourism, we can promote our most of the festivals, most of the things to the world. The first one is the festival shows. So wherever we do a festival shows, we need to have this kind of games and cultural events. That's number one. And number two is cultural programs. So we are actually unique. The games actually that kabaddi, silambam, or and we have like Bharatanatyam that we are practicing here. So these things will definitely will enrich the cultural programs. And of course, we can have a competition. And I heard that this is a global competition, right? So this competition is really give a lot of information, especially for the younger generation to involve in this kind of games and cultural events. And lastly is a promotional campaign. And I really encourage the government, Malaysian government, to use this kind of games and culture in it to do this promotional campaign. But now the current Malaysian government is really giving a lot of emphasis. Whenever they do the promotional campaign, they try to include the games and cultural events of the different entities, different ethnic groups. So this is what actually currently we are doing in Malaysia to promote the tourism. So whoever want to come to Malaysia, you are welcome to Malaysia. And I just want to do my conclusion is an Indian game and the culture play an important role in Malaysian society. Indian games can help players to improve their skills, fitness, gain exposure to different culture, and make new friends. Indian culture can inspire artists and help them to reach a wider audience. Indian games and culture can also help the tourists to learn about Indian culture and experience. Even though I'm not the Indian from Indian, but I'm Malaysian Indian, but I truly explain. I really want to showcase the Indian games to the world. And thank you so much for these opportunities. I really wish all the best to the Prof. Rania and then Prof. Bijender, because you are doing something out of my mind. I never think about this. And thank you very much to invite me and to speak in this conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, dear professor. Really, the presentation was wonderful. I loved what you said about how the Ministry of Sports wants to promote women in martial arts.
Yes, yes.
Think
Yesterday I saw this news.
That's great news, and definitely what you said about how festival shows, cultural programs, competition, promotional campaigns could be beneficial for tourism. And but you mentioned about festivals also. I think the most important feature in Malaysia culture is festivals. And the
Yeah.
Indian festivals also, you mentioned Deepavali, which is a festival of lights.
Deepavali, yeah, yeah. Festival
Yeah,
of Lights, yes, yes.
and another one which is surreal,
Pongal,
right? Taipusam.
Thaipusam,
It's the
yeah.
most iconic festival because it has a piercing ritual, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, it's one of the most surreal festival. And of course, you have over 15 wonderful festivals, Water Festival, Festival, Also world
Yes.
music, mooncake, very
Yeah,
rich
because in Malaysia
culture.
is a multi-ethnic country. So we have Muslims, we have Chinese, and we have Indians, and we have other races. So we have like every month we have festivals. So when Muslims celebrate their festival, we also take part in their
Mhm.
festival, like a Chinese New Year, and we will be a Chinese New Year festival. So we celebrate all in Malaysia. That's a unique thing.
Wonderful. So I wish I could visit your place there and
Yeah, yeah. Please,
organize
please
an
welcome
event
and inform me
together.
earlier. I will join with you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we can move on with our next keynote speaker from Philippines, Dr. Arnel Miraflor. Can you unmute, introduce yourself, and present?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening po. Good evening to
Good
all,
evening.
everyone. Uh, my name is Arnel Esme Aplor. I work, I used to work in Department of Education for almost 15 years, and I was a ma I was a master teacher when I resigned in the Department of Education. Then I applied for instructor one again. So I go back to instructor position just to apply for the university because my dream is to teach in university. I want to be a professor someday. And I already finished two doctorate degree, my Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy in Science. That's why I was qualified to teach in colleges. Now, let me share my slides. Uh, Ma'am, sir, can you see my slide now?
Yes, it's perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So I prepared cultural, sports, and tourism in the Philippines. Now, as you can see in the illustration, so I have different images here. So what I'm wearing now is this. It's called the Barong Tagalog in the Philippines. It is the national costume for male Filipino, and this is Barot Saya for the female or Filipiniana also. And this is the one of the vehicle. You can only in the Philippines, the jeep. Next is the tricycle, a vehicle with three tires, which is custom made in the Philippines. And these are other national symbols, like the sapagita for the flower, and it's called rice cake or kakanin. Now, for the menu, let's start with the culture. Now, when we say culture, it is a particular society or civilization, especially considered in relation to its beliefs, way of life, or art. Now, in the Philippines, the cultural means relating to a particular society's ideas, custom, and art. Now, here in the Philippines, our national dance is the Cariñosa. And in the Philippines, folk dance for Maria Clara suit that dates back to colonial era, especially Spanish era. So the pan or handkerchief of plays a crucial part in setting up the romance between the couple, so the male and female partners. Also, we have the tinikling. So tinikling is one of the most popular folk dance in the Philippines, which is originated during the Spanish colonial era also, and particularly in Leyte, Philippines, one of the Visayan islands in the Philippines. So the traditional dance is named after the birds locally known as the tikling. This is a flightless bird in the Philippines. And the dancers of the couples imitates the movement of these birds as they walk on grass or dodge bamboo traps set by grass farmers to to trap the tickling or the bird. Next is the sports. Now, sports in the Philippines, and I prepared the Filipino traditional games. We have the Filipino traditional games, but personally, I am a Taekwondo practitioner. I'm a second degree black belt in Taekwondo. I'm also a Kali or Arnis player and trainer, and also a table tennis practitioner. And I am also in our university, I am the sports coordinator. Now, in Philippines, one of the favorite game of children are patintero or hawing jego or king jego in English. So the players try to cross the line without letting touch the other. So a Filipino variation of tag. So number of players. So there are 5 members in each group. So each member of the group who is it stands on the water lines. So the perpendicular line in the middle allows the it or the player to be cast designated on that line. To intersect the lines occupied by it that the parallel line intersects. So thus increasing the chance of the runners to be trapped on a box. So even only one member of the group is tagged, the whole group will be the it. So this example of the picture of patintero game. Now, the luksong tinik or jump over the thorns of a plant. So two players serve as the base of the tinik or thorn by putting their right or left feet together. So soles touching, gradually building the tinik. So a starting point is set by all the players. So giving enough runway for the players to achieve a high jump. So I used to play this when I was still a child. So as not to hit the tinik. So players of the other team start jumping over the tinik, followed by the other team members. So that is the Lokson tinik in the image. Next is the Pico. So in the Philippines, it is the Philippine variation of the game hopscotch. So the players stand behind the edge of a box and each should throw their cue ball. The first to play is determined depending on the player's agreement. So example is nearest to the moon, wings, or the chest. Whoever succeeds in throwing the cue ball nearest to the place that they have agreed upon will play first. So the next nearest is second and so on. So the children in the Philippines play this game or the Pico. The next game is the Agawan base. So there are 2 teams with 2 bases. So how many players are on this team depends on the players. So there are 2 bases that each team claims as their own. So the goal is to tag the other team base without getting tagged. So if you're tagged, you're transferred to the other team and must be rescued. So there are several variations in which the rules are changed. And in some, you can connect other items to the base, so you can easily touch the base. So a rule usually called corriente or current. If you touch his part of the body, you have already saved the or tagged the players. Now, the secret of this game is you have to run fast and you have a good endurance, bad endurance. Next is the Holland or the Jolens. So you should hold the ball called Holland in your hand and then throw it to hit the player's ball out of the playing area. So Holland is called marble in USA. So it is played a more precise way by tacking the marble with your third finger, thumb under the marble, and fourth finger used to stabilize the marble. So you aim at the group marbles inside a circle and flick the marble from your fingers, and anything you hit out of the circle is yours. So whoever got the most marbles won the game. So you can also win the game by eliminating your opponent by aiming and hitting his marble. So you have to be a sharpshooter to be a winner. So usually this game is played in land or soil. The next is the palo sebo. So in English, it's a grease bamboo pole climbing. So this game involves a grease bamboo pole that players attempt to climb. Since the bamboo has a grease, so a player has a difficulty in climbing. So this game is usually played during town fiestas, particularly in the provinces. So the objective of the participant is to be the person to reach the prize. A small bag located at top of the bamboo pole. So the small bag usually contains money or toys. The next is the sipa, or game of kick. The object being used to play the game is also called sipa. So it is made of a washer with a colorful threads, usually plastic straw attached to it. The sipa is then thrown upwards. The player tosses using his or her foot. So the player must not allow the sipa to touch the gun by hitting it several times with his or her foot. And sometimes the part just above the knee. So the player must count the number of times he or she was able to kick the sipa. So the one with most number of kicks wins the game. So I used to play this game when I in grade 6 elementary. So the game mechanics of sipa is similar to the Western game called hacky sack. Sipa is also played professionally by Filipino athletes with a woven ball called sepak takraw, and which is game rules followed from our Southeast Asian neighbor, the Indonesia. And next is the taguan, or hide and seek in America. So what is unique in taguan compared to its counterpart, hide and seek, is that this game is usually played at sunset or at night as a challenge for the it to locate those who are hiding under the caves in Laguna or Cavite, Philippines, which is popular site for taguan players. So the it needs to sing the following before she starts the seeking. Example, I will cite this, tagu-taguan, maliwanag ang buwan. Or hide and seek, the moon is bright. Masarap maglaro sa dilim-diliman. In English, it is fun to play in the semi-dark night. Pagkabilang ko 10, in English, when I finish counting up to 10, nakatago na kayo. All you should already have hidden isa, dalawa, hanggang 10, or 1, 2, to 10. So that is the taguan in the Philippines. Next is the luksong Chinese garter. So this Chinese garter, two people hold both ends of a stretched garter horizontally while the others attempt to cross over it. So in this picture, the goal is to cross without having trip on the garter with each round. So the garter's height is made higher than the previous round. So the game starts with the garter at ankle level, followed by knee level until the garter is positioned above the head. So the higher rounds demand dexterity, and the player generally leap with their feet first in the air. So their feet cross over the garter and they end up landing on the other side. Also, with the higher levels, doing cartwheels to cross the garter is allowed. So this is example of picture of Chinese garter. Now let's go to tourism. Now, tourism in the Philippines can have a significant economic impact on the destination, generating revenue from tourist-related activities such as accommodation, dining, transportation, and entertainment. So this can also create employment opportunities for local people. So cultural attractions also play an important role in promoting tourism, and museums, art galleries, festivals, and cultural events attract tourists who want to immerse themselves in local culture and discover its unique offerings. Before I forgot, may I go back to the games? And the national sport here in the Philippines is the arnis. Arnis is the Philippines national martial art or sport. After President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo signed the Republic Act number 9850 in 2009. So during 2009 or 2010, I was sent to have a training in arnis. So the act mandates that the Department of Education to include a sport as a physical education course. Arnis was included among the priority sports in Palakong Pambansa or National Games, and it began in 2010. Now, arnis is also known in various regional terms such as kali, skrima, and baston. Now, how cultural and sports games boost tourism? Now, at first glance, so arts and cultural activities may appear to compete with social service providers in programs. However, So individual and group-based arts and cultural activities provide benefits and additional support for health and human service programs, and the social requirements for mental, physical, and occupational license for fostering skill development and social connection. And multiple studies have demonstrated research multiple personal, socioeconomic, and environmental benefits of arts, s- culture, and sports. So these are my topics, and these are the culture, sports, and tourism in the Philippines.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arnel. You
Thank you very
presented
much, madam.
so many traditional games in Philippines. We know that the popular game there is basketball, but the traditional games you presented are even more important because the games serve as a common denominator among the members of the family. So Filipino traditional games help in bridging the connection between the kids and their elders because
Yes, madam.
there are the same games that were enjoyed by the parents and their grandparents. So I think it's very important, interesting topic that presented, something that we can't find easily, on Google or in books. Thank you very much for this
Thank you
very
po.
original
Thank you, ma'am.
presentation. Thank you for accepting my invitation. And
Thank
I
you, ma'am.
hope to see you in person in the Philippines because I'm planning on visiting Philippines next year.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome,
Thank you
ma'am,
very
to
much.
the
Thank you.
Philippines.
Thank you. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Vijender Goel, founder of Modern Pythian Games. Mr. Vijender Goel, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Rania. Thank you so much. My all friends from Romania, Philippines, Malaysia, my colleagues from India, Lakshmanji and Anil Prathamsa from Gujarat, and of course Rania, the host of this program and a strong pillar of the organization. All ladies and gentlemen who are watching us online, it is an absolute pleasure to address you, all of you, today in this global vision meeting of the Modern Pythian Games. I want to begin my extending heartfelt appreciation to Rania Lampu, our remarkable host, who has played a pivotal role in the success of this program. Her dedication in hosting 13 continuous episodes on experimental basis has truly been exemplary. We are looking forward in the coming times to make this channel functional in 7 languages, and I think this experiment is a success, where we can live stream our all programs to our various channels and OTT platforms around the world. We have attained the viewership of more than 55,000 only on YouTube in last 1.5 months. And if you talk about LinkedIn, Twitter, OTTs, and various other social handles, then viewership is much higher. So, thank you, Rania, for your support so far. Now let us delve into the rich history and promising future of the Pythian Games. The ancient Pythian Games, held in Delphi, Greece, were a celebration of physical prowess, intellectual excellence, and artistic talent. These games showcase the ideals of unity, harmony, and human achievement. They were not just about competition, but a celebration of the human spirit. In the same spirit, we have carried the legacy forward to create the modern Pythian Games. These games are a global platform for the nations to come together, not only in athletic competition, but also in the cultural exchange and intellectual pursuits. We believe that just as in ancient times, these games can serve as a beacon of the unity and collaboration among nations. Speaking of unity, it is an honor to have Romania, the Philippines, Greece, and India here today, as well Malaysia, representing the diverse cultures and traditions that makes our world so unique. Your presence symbolizes the global vision of the modern Pythian Games. I am delighted to announce the recent launch of the International Millet Conclave, which we launched yesterday only. This is going to be a revolutionary program around our world to celebrate 2023 as a millet year. This is an initiative aimed at promoting sustainable agriculture and nutrition across the globe. This endeavor aligns perfectly with the values of Pythian Games, as it seeks to improve the well-being of communities worldwide and preserve the traditions and cultures. Moreover, I am excited to announce the launch of Cultural Quiz in mid-October. This is another step which the Modern Pythian Game is going to launch very soon, maybe next 15 days. We are launching the first cultural quiz program for the students and for all ages. And you can say now the activities of Modern Pythian Games has started worldwide. This test will be a knowledge to the participant of the world's diverse culture and tradition. It promises to be an engaging and educational experience for all. And finally, the Pythian Game Festival, scheduled from 19th to 21st December of 2023 in Delhi, will again be a historical event. This event are eagerly awaited because this will be the first historical event after it was discontinued in 394 after Christ. So after 1630 years, after 1630 years, any such a big program of the Pythian Games will be held in Delhi from 19th to 21st December, and it will be the revival of Pythian Games. It will be a celebration of athleticism, culture, and the human spirit. We invite you to participate and witness the magic of the Pythian game firsthand. At last, and in conclusion, the modern Pythian Games are not just a supporting event. They are a celebration of our shared humanity, a testament to our unity in diversity, and a platform for positive global change. With your support and participation, I am confident that we can continue to grow and thrive, carrying the spirit of ancient Pythian Games into the future. Thank you all for being a part of this incredible journey. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rania.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vigendel, for your inspiring always presentation. As you highlighted, Modern Pythian Games is a celebration of the human spirit, of unity, of global peace, which unites all nations and helps promote the uniqueness of each culture and tradition. Yes, we supported this great project, and it has already been international. It has reached over 100 countries. And of course, you know that as a Greek, I'm much honored because this honors my country also in Greece. Thank you very much, Mr. Bigender Goel. And now I think it's time to move to Romania. Miss Antonia. Okay, you can
good evening.
first you can good evening. Introduce yourself first and start presenting.
My name is Antonia. I'm history teacher since 2002. I teach to secondary level and also to high level from 5th to 12th grade. So my students are younger. Thanks, Madam Rania, for inviting me to take part to this conference, and also thanks to the organizer. I didn't know many things about Pythian Games until now, but I'm glad that I found. And today I will present some old games from Romania. I will share my screen. And when Mr. Arnel sustained their presentation, I was amazed how many old games from Philippines are similar with Romania. We have some, I think, 3 games like in Philippines, and you will find about this today. This here. So the first old games which our children used to play, it's called the Ducks and the Hunters. There are 2 hunters who throw the ball from one to other towards the group of ducks. The rest of the children sitting between them is an attempt to touch them and eliminate them from the game. The last 2 ducks left alive become the hunters, and at the next turn. A fun games that develops mobility, attention, collaboration, and reaction speed. Is one of our children's game. We play many time. The second game, it's a game where have a strange name in our language, but in English it's Little Bird Move Your Nest. It plays between it's played better when there are many children, more than 8. Everyone sit in a circle or in a nest of 2 children holding hands. One is extra and stands in the middle of it all. She shouts at one point, "Little bird, move your nest." And all, including the one in the middle, must occupy another nest. If 2 run to the same nest, the first to reach it wins. The one who remains without a nest is out of the game. In the middle comes another child, his nest being removed from the game. She shouts, little bird, move your nest, and the game continues until 3 children remain winners. It's very funny. It plays from many children. Other games is net, rocks, scissors, and I think it's similar with the game from Philippines with the marble. I think it's something like that game. A mundane but nice game. 1 palm means net, first means stone, and 2 fingers means scissors. The net catches the stones breaks the scissors cut the net. The 2 children count to 3 and then show one of these signs. However, show the stronger sign win. I lost my handkerchief is a very old dance practiced by children. A handkerchief or napkins, possibly scented. For this game, we need a preparation. The children hold hands and form a circle. One of them takes a handkerchief and runs around the circle. Out on outside while the rest of the children sing. I lost a handkerchief. My mother beats me. Who is going to deny it to me? I kiss his mouth. Scented handkerchief. He is with a girl, to a beautiful girl, the one I love. During the song, the running child leaves the handkerchief behind a girl without her realizing it, because no one is allowed to look behind. If she felt that the handkerchief is placed behind her, she will take the handkerchief and run after the person who placed it in front of her legs. If he catches or it touches it, the role will change. The children will resume the song and continue the game. And I used to present some traditional occupation, which is the point from all this game. In a very old time, in traditional village in Romania, this kind of occupation named sitting, șezătoarea in Romania, was one of the custom with a very important role in the social life of the village. People work, sang, told story, practiced some social game that is passed on, took over the popular tradition. This kind of activity named sitting, it's very, very important in our tradition, because the children, the parents, entire family, and maybe the entire neighborhood, entire part of a village can bring together and practice this kind of activity. And I say that this kind of occupation is very important, because the children, until their parents work something, their children play a game. And this game, which I present to you today, was part of this occupation named sitting. And other important occupation in our traditional history and villages is claca. I didn't find a name in English for this activity. It's an activity where many people bring together to one of a family and help that family to resolve a work. They can complete a single work, and then they go to that family and help to finish their job. So claca is a popular custom where is created the framework and carrying out a collective work, being at the same time a custom of helping in the community. Originating from the Romanian village life system, it is spread through the country, presenting some particularities determined by the characteristic of the occupation specific to the ethnographic area and the way it is being practiced. Is being performed by the entire community or through its representative group according the age and the gender, so can be practiced by youth, by boys, by men, by girls and the woman, to help one of the villagers when the activity they had to undertake exceeded the working power of a family. So they bring all together and help that family to finish their work. Also, in this activity, in this occupation, the children can play some old games like that I will present you today. All this occupation, all the old games which practice in Romania, I think it's very important for the tourists, because many of tourists which came in Romania want to see how old family live in traditional villages, which was the occupation that they practice, or game like this. Also the traditional custom which you can see in these pictures. So this is my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you again, Madam Rania, for inviting me, and organizer for for this session. And excuse my English is not very good.
Your presentation was so awesome, really. I loved your traditional games and the way you presented. All these, all traditional games encourage cognitive, language, motor, social, emotional development because they teach the necessary skills and behaviors for survival. And these, of course, traditional games can be used as a learning tool and contribute to productive school time by combining fun with learning, and also help children to think for themselves, to build fine motor skills, to learn cooperation and teamwork. And as you said, we find the surprising similarities between the old games in Romania and Philippines. This shows how cultures are universal. Universals, these patterns or these traits that are globally common to all societies. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to be the project director and host of this program, to have the chance to co-organize 13 consecutive global conferences. I would like to thank, of course, Mr. Benjamin Goel for this great opportunity. I would like to congratulate all the Modern Pythian Games team. I would like to thank also all our eminent guests today from different countries who shared with us wonderful views. Of course, all the audience who watch us live, and see you next week with new cultures and new adventures. Wishing you a wonderful evening. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.